Venice and Genoa expanded shipbuilding and navigation techniques. The full-rigged carrack was developed by the 15th century, a rounded cog modified with a big spread of canvas using three masts, with the main and foremast square-rigged and the stern a triangular lateen sail. The Portuguese developed the caravel about 1440 with a slim hull, mixed or lateen rig, requiring only a small crew. They were designed to sail down the west coast of Africa. Portugal drove out the Moors and had commercial success with trade, including England. Henry the Navigator pushed for maritime expansion, including increasing trade with Africa and the start of a colonial empire. The Portuguese caravels were used to discover Madeira, the Azores, and the Canaries, and started the exploration of West Africa. The voyages continued after Henry's death, with Vasco da Gama passing the Cape of Good Hope and discovering a southern route to India. Spain emerged as a relatively united country after Isabella of Castile married Ferdinand of Aragon in 1469, then kicked the Muslims out of Spain by 1492, just in time for Columbus to make his pitch to sail west to the Indies. Columbus was a Genoese merchant and sailor. Based on his analysis, he believed sailing west was a relatively short distance to Asia. Most European experts disagreed and refused to fund his exploration. Ferdinand and Isabella eventually gave in and financed the trip for Spain. Columbus sailed on three ships. The Santa Maria was a carrack and became his flagship. The Nina and Pinta were smaller caravels. Columbus was turned down often because the experts believed the world was much bigger than Columbus did. They were right. Columbus was about 10,000 miles off. The trip west required sailing with the trade winds. He did so, but likely by chance. Columbus sailed from Castile in August and landed in the Bahamas on October 12th, a 5-week voyage beyond the Canary Islands. What luck! Not anywhere near Asia, but landfall meant success. The Santa Maria ran aground, and the Pinta was separated in a storm. Columbus made it back to Spain the next March, arriving on the remaining ship, the Nina. That was the strange fate of Columbus' first voyage. Columbus continued with 3 more voyages, somehow surviving all of them. Columbus didn't know it, but he was given credit for discovering the New World, discounting the Vikings and probably Basque fishermen. He was most responsible for the Columbian Exchange. The food history story meant discovering the amazing vegetables and fruits grown by the New World peoples. Millions of Europeans and others would immigrate to the rich New World. Nobody accused Columbus of being a humanitarian. He viewed the indigenous people as heathen to be abused for his profit. Even by Spanish standards, his behavior was thuggish enough to get him relieved and arrested. Smallpox and other European diseases killed off the vast majority of the indigenous peoples, and European conquest ensured that in total 80 to 95% were killed. Many of those remaining would be enslaved. Future voyages continued through 1504, and Columbus landed on several Caribbean islands and beyond, leaving outposts and colonists. The success of Columbus' voyages and Portugal sailing to Asia prompted additional European voyages exploring up and down the Atlantic coast. Several made contact with coastal natives but typically wore out their welcome quickly. Pedro Cabral discovered Brazil for Portugal. Pope Alexander VI would split the New World between Spain and Portugal, which did not deter the English, Dutch, or French. The major food story is the vast number of foods that came from the New World. Who were the indigenous people that discovered or created them? How did they develop advanced civilization, including the Incas and Aztecs? Next time on Food History and Mystery.